elaborate what we intend to do. These are ambitious goals. But the Congress parties always believe we must set ambitious goals. Your reach must be beyond your grasp. You must set ambitious goals and try to reach those goals, which is what we have set out in this manifesto. And I hope when you have the time to read it over the next couple of days, there will be a better understanding of what we plan to do, and then you in turn will propagate this manifesto to as many hundreds of people as possible. Thank you.
This idea of justice and this idea of enhanced freedoms actually finds resonance in the Congress President's post on AIPC's LinkedIn page today. And I hope when you go home you get an opportunity to read that. In that context, one of the biggest proposals from the Congress Party is Nyay. How do you see Nyay kind of adding to economic activity in India eventually? It's not in some ways about justice, but also about economic activity. But also, how do you respond to critics who say we don't have funds to pay for it?
Well, if anyone says he cannot implement Nyay, I accept that. If you can't implement Nyay, fine, vacate the chair. Somebody will come and implement Nyay. When we propounded Manrega, they said it can't be done. They said everyone will come to the work spot and say, give me work. Everyone, rich, poor, old, young, male, female, will all come to the work spot and ask the BDO, give me work. How is it possible if 100 crore people turn out asking for work? Did that happen? It didn't happen. Only those who felt the hunger, I have to work today, I can't get work, therefore I'll go to the Manrega workplace and earn my then 100 rupees. Only they will come to work. Although it was a universal scheme, it self-selected the beneficiaries. Similarly, when we announced the farm loan waiver scheme in 2008, they said it can't be done. All banks will be bankrupt. We implemented it in 4 months. We wiped out, we erased the loans of crores of farmers, and we bore the cost. The banks didn't go bankrupt. The government of India didn't go bankrupt either. So Nyay is implementable. There are people who are offered to guide us on how to implement Nyay. A couple of them have revealed that they were consulted. And I'm sure more will reveal that they were consulted. We will have an expert group to implement Nyay. And I think Nyay is doable. More than that, Nyay must be done. It's not whether, the question is not whether, can we do it? The question really is, should we do it? If the answer to should we do it is yes, we should do it, then we must find a way to do it. Now there are multiple benefits from Nyay. First, demonetization impoverished everyone, but completely devastated the poorest of this country. This will remonetize the economy of that 20%. Cash will go back to them. The cash that was illegally and arbitrarily taken away from them will go back to them now. Secondly, the poor consume very little. We consume much more than we should. They consume much less than they should. When the poor consume more, when they buy more clothes, more food, they buy footwear, they buy utensils, they buy kitchen equipment, they buy school books, they buy textbooks. When the poor consume more, that will stimulate Production. More production will mean more jobs. More jobs will mean more income for more people. Therefore, consumption drives production. Production drives investment. That's a well-known formula. So the poor must consume more. They're consuming far less than they should in a civilized society. So the benefit of increased consumption to the poor. Thirdly, it will give mobility to the poor. The poor today are stuck. They can't take risks. They can't move to a place where the job is because there's no security for the family. Once you assure a certain level of income, a minimum income support to the family, then the working members of the family can take a few risks, can become more mobile, can go in search of a job. And therefore, whatever animal energies are there in them, don't think that animal energies are there only in the billionaires. There's animal energy in every human being. Those animal energies will be released and people will try a few things, take a few risks, and try to earn more. And world over, schemes similar to Nyay, where they've been applied, have shown that people do escape poverty. People do come out of the vice-like grip of poverty. While rapid growth will indeed lift people out of poverty, a direct benefit cash transfer supplementing the rapid growth will help people escape poverty.
Thank you. Chidambaramji, there are two other topics that I want to speak about and then perhaps we can open it up. One is GST and the reforms that you've envisioned, because that, I think, many people are hurt by that. They want to understand how we're going to reform GST. And the second part is the proposal for MSMEs and how that could perhaps help with job creation.
Well, let's answer MSME first. MSMEs account for 90% of all employment in this country. 90% of all employment in this country. MSMEs were devastated by demonetization and GST. Thousands and thousands of micro and small units have closed down. Medium industries have scaled down their production. Now we can't have a rehabilitation plan for MSMEs. What do you rehabilitate? Loss of business, loss of profit, loss of employment? How do you rehabilitate them? The only way is to give them the freedom to grow. Therefore, we are saying a regulatory forbearance. For 3 years, from 1st April 2019, or for 3 years from the date of commencement of a new business, no laws will apply to them. Just go ahead and start your business. Subject to only one condition. You pay minimum wages. You have to pay minimum wages. It also gives young people an opportunity to take risks. For 3 years, you don't have to worry about this inspector, that application, this permit, this form, this compliance. Just forget all that. Just concentrate on your business and ensure that your business is on a firm footing. I think this will unleash the energies of young people. It will also bring an opportunity for closed micro and small businesses to restart again. The Tamil Nadu Minister of Industry told the state legislature that thanks to demonetization and GST, 50,000 micro and small units were closed in Tamil Nadu and 5 lakh jobs were lost in one state. Now many of these units will now start again if you give them a 3-year regulatory forbearance. The other question
Resonance? GST.
Now, what the NDA government has implemented is not GST. Even Dr. Arvind Subramaniam will say it's not GST. What is real GST is there in his report. The report titled Revenue Neutral Rate on GST. The real GST is there. He has explained what GST is in the first chapter and gone on to argue for a rate between 14 and 14.5. We will implement a true GST. Therefore, we are calling it GST 2.0. I think the present GST is irremediable. You can't amend it. They have amended it, I think, hundreds of times. We can't add another 100 amendments to that. It's much better to make a fresh GST. Let this run for a few months until we make a fresh GST design and then implement that GST. It will be a single standard rate. That phrase is understood by all tax administrators all over the world. It will be a single standard rate with input credit at every level. Goods of mass consumption will either be exempt or zero rated. Exports will be zero rated. And compliance will be made simple. We have proposed a single quarterly return for compliance. And we have also said the reverse charge mechanism will be abolished. E-way bill will be abolished. There will be no e-way bill. You will have to ensure there is no tax evasion through risk management practices and intelligence. Not create a virtual check post every 10 feet. At least the check post was only once in 50 kilometers. A e-way bill means you can anyone can stop you every 10 feet and say, where's your e-way bill? So that's really an invisible check post. We said e-way bill will be abolished.
Thank you. In the interest of time, I think we should open it up because Mr. Chidambaram has to go for additional interviews. So may I suggest that we take one question from each column? Okay? Okay. Right here first, then I'll come to you. Can you
How do we achieve this single rate when you have this fiscal council, the federal council or something, that they may obstruct and you don't have the support of the state governments?
Well, then it's not GST. GST is a single standard rate. We hope that there will be more finance ministers who believe in a true GST. Today the Congress has 5 or 6 finance ministers. We have powerful allies in Kerala, Bengal, Odisha, Andhra, Telangana. We hope there will be more and they will accept the idea of a true GST.
Okay, if you can have a question from this side. Yeah.
Good evening, sir. Sir, Mr. Arun Jaitley said that the Congress single GST idea has been taken up by Singapore, which has no poverty. So the essential commodities of poor, if it will be charged in the slab of luxuries, like a single slab, then how is Congress going to counter that?
These are old hackneyed arguments. Singapore is not the only country implementing GST. There are several countries which implement GST and there is a single standard rate. Then there is exemption, there is zero rating. In respect of so-called sin goods, that's outside the GST. If it is a sin good, why do you confuse it with GST?
Right. Thank you. If we can take one question from this side, I think gentleman in the front.
Ask Mr. Jaitley to show me one country which had 8 rates.
Yeah, please, sir.
Good evening, sir. You said that private investment, private capital, and private entrepreneurship, they are the keys to growth. I like that, sir. I have 2 questions which are related to this concept and which are themselves related to each other. First, when you were finance minister in 2007, sir, a high-powered expert committee submitted its report on making Mumbai an international finance capital. Now, nothing much has happened since 2007 in that respect. So I would like your views on that. Where are we going, and what does the Congress party think in that direction? Second, sir, we look at tax havens as something bad and disruptive. So we close the Mauritius route, we close the Singapore route. But why can't we have a tax haven here in India? Why can't the IFC itself be a tax haven? Or is it an idea whose time has not come in a predominantly left of center India? I would like your views on that, sir. Thank you.
See, Mumbai was a natural choice for an international financial center, but that requires cooperation from the state government. Even now, if there is full cooperation of the state government, Mumbai can become the international financial center of India. It's a natural choice for becoming the international financial center. On the second question, the word tax haven has a particular meaning. I don't know what you have in mind when you say tax havens. Tax haven means, as I understand, anyone can bring money, anyone can take out money, no questions will be asked, and no taxes will be levied. I don't think, even in this audience, there will be more than 10 people who will support you, that there must be a place in India where anyone can bring money, anyone can take out money, no accounts will be asked, and no taxes will be levied. It's really, a tax haven is only a parking place for unaccounted money. If what you mean is a tax-free zone or a tax-light zone, that makes sense. We have said that we will have such zones for Make for the World scheme, where anyone who wants to set up a manufacturing industry and exports his entire production to the rest of the world, like they do in Vietnam, like they do in China, we will have a more liberal tax regime and practically no other control. As long as they employ Indians. If Indians are employed, huge amount of employment is created, you come here, set up your factory and export. What does it matter? I mean, India's largest refining company does exactly that. It brings the crude, refines it and sends it out of the country. So somebody can come, set up a manufacturing and export. Why should you not export cars, export whatever you like, as long as jobs are created for Indians?
Right. Can we have the gentleman there? Yeah.
Hello.